Morning. You join me somewhere new today on this lovely crisp Sunday morning. We are over the English side of the channel, the Bristol Channel today. Doing something different today. We've got a very stiff 20-mile-an-hour southeasterly wind today, so it wouldn't be very pleasant over the Welsh side unless you go in further down the channel, Ogmore, Bridgend area. But didn't fancy dogfish and small eyes today. I come further up the channel on the English side. Some of you might know by the mark I'm on. We're trying today for thornbacks, chance for a blonde and a cod. But I say chance for a blonde, I've already had one. We got here about 5:30 in the morning. High water's 9 o'clock. So the first 2 hours was in darkness. I managed to winkle out my first blonde from the mark on my first cast. Haven't weighed it yet. It's in a deep rock pool behind me. It's probably 14-15 pound. Lovely dark fish caught on bluey and squid. So these are the second casts. It hasn't long got light. So my mate Richie Taylor's with me today. He's fishing just to my right, or left as I'm looking at the camera. He's missed a couple of fish already. We're thinking they're congers or codlin. But there's still plenty of time. It's still 3 hours to high water, so. Yeah, oh, is that a bite on my left hand rod there? That was a bite then. But yeah, simple tactics as normal. You should know me by now. I don't change much. Just the usual 5-foot pulley rigs. Well, actually a little bit longer than 5 foot because I'm 5'7", so they're about 6 foot. Usual 100-pound Cedra imp, but the only difference is I'm using 8-ounce leads today. Because the tires, you can tell by the tips on the 900s, they're absolutely folded round. So 8-ounce lead, imp, 100 pounds, 6 foot long, the usual various components, and still the same, half a bluey and a whole squid mounted onto 250s, BMXs. So keep it simple. It works over the Welsh side, and it works over the English side. But what I might do in a bit is my mate's brought a shed load of worm over with him, ragworm and blowlug, so I might put some worm out in a bit and try for a cod. They're saying that cod will pick up the fish baits. So I'll go and get this blonde out the puddle and show the lovely English prize. My first blonde ray from Lady Bay. It's got to be 14, 15, quite a lump, 14-15 pound. I had it first cast, half a bluey, whole squid on a 6-foot pulley. Yeah, it's quite heavy. This is quite a lump. It's thick, really dark fish, lovely fish. But I had this in mind today, a blonde ray or a cod. So can't go wrong with that first cast. Let's just hope now that it's not the only fish of the session, but we got a good 4 or 5 hours ahead of us. So hopefully we get some more. Here she is. My mate Richie was like, weigh it in case it's your PB on the English side, and it is. I've had a few over Grenley, White Sands, but this is my PB from the English side, 15.5. So, lovely fish. We'll take the time though. That's it. Look at that. Just do a little talk about the gear I'm using today down over the this side of the channel. It's a rod that I love, that you all know I love, but these are not actually my rods. I've got Llewellyn at the moment from Angling and Fishing, customising 3 T900s for me, but my mate Richie has been kind enough for the last 2 weeks to borrow me his T900s, which is nice of him. So, but I got it's paired up with my pen casting specials, loaded with £20 Variva Sport and £100 clear leader, and then just the usual 5 to 6 foot pulley rig, and on the end there is a 8-ounce SKM lead with a half a bluey and a whole squid. The tide is absolutely hammering through here, and I mean far worse than most of the venues I fish on the Welsh side. But yeah, so I'm going to quickly just wind this up. The boss Harry has told me not to cast too far, so I'll give it a nice little lob and then see where we go. So make sure your footing is right. Only a gentle little lob. Look at that. Just like that. I've just put that bait out, as you've seen. But when I got back to the rods from casting that out, I noticed my line was on the floor. So I actually stopped recording from the cast, and I got back, the line was on the floor, just wound in my second blonde. So unfortunately I didn't catch on camera either. So it's quite difficult to be in 2 places at once. So that's in a puddle as well. My mate Richie thinks it's a little bit bigger than 15.5, and it's a lot blacker as well, because when it came up I thought it was a stingray. So I've had 2 bites on the one rod now, nothing on the other one. That's 2 blondes, 2 casts, 2 blondes. So it's looking pretty much, hopefully it'll be a good session. It takes a bit of achievement to come over here to a venue I haven't fished before and have 2 blondes in 2 casts. So yeah, here she is. Oh, by far my favourite fish ever. Oh, you almost had me. So my second blonde from Lady Bay on my second cast. They're very dark over here, very dark. I'd say that's pretty much the same size, if not a little bit bigger. What do you reckon, Rich? Same size, a little bit bigger?
Tiny bit bigger.
Tiny bit bigger, he reckons. But yeah, it's looking good. Quite a few anglers have turned up now. So, absolutely love the blonde rays. Let's go and release it. Here we have blonde ray number 2. This was a little bit bigger, £15.11. Big old fish. Nice average stamper fish over here, 2 15-pounders in 2 casts. So let's put her back. Go on the water. Any better sight than that? Yeah, it's a lovely mark, this. I've always wanted to fish Lady Bay. The amount of times I've fished bream down and just drove past you, I'm glad I have now. I'm glad I made the decision to come over. Having two blondes, the first two casts, one of 15.5 and the other one 15.11. Occasionally we get the odd black one over the Welsh side, you know, it's normally a decent one, a big one like. But to have two 15-pounders and then both be black, you know, is it because of the mud down here? I'm not sure. But we're lucky to catch a third now. Wonder if it'll come out pale or black. So I'll just run you through a bait up. Yeah, so it's just simple. Half a bluey. Where did I put that squid? Chucked it back in here, right? Yeah. And half a wrapper squid. Nothing massive. Don't need, like I keep saying, don't need big baits to raise. The only time you use big baits really if there's nothing happening. Especially on the Welsh side, if there's loads of doggies. I don't see any point whatsoever in chucking out a big bait. But everyone's different. Yeah, that wind is picking up. We forecast it too. But this is the reason why we come over this side. Because it's off our back. Make sure she's nice and straight. Tide's eased for the last hour of the flood, which is nice. So that's it, nice and simple. Half a bluey, half a squid. Onto a 5 to 6 foot pulley. Nice and simple. Got an hour till high. Fingers crossed we can pull something out. There's quite a few anglers turned up now. It's got to be 10 anglers from as far as I can see. So it's a nice morning. I'm definitely starting to love this mark. Probably favour this over bream down, to be fair. Feels like it's going to throw up a few more bigger fish. It's just got that feeling about it. That tide has eased lovely now. The first 2.5 hours, you know, even 8 ounces were just barely holding. So we got about half hour to high water. So it'll be nice now because I've had 2 blondes. This is the 3rd cast. So it'd be nice now to actually capture one on camera. It's a little bit of getting used to, because normally on the Welsh side, when you're fishing the flood, it's pulling left, and when it's ebbing, it's pulling right. Over this side, it's flooding to the right, and you'll be ebbing to the left. Oh, a bite on the right hand rod. Is that a weed or is that a fish? Yeah, it's a gentle little pull down on the right hand rod. I don't know if there's a bit of weed passing or is there a fish settling on it. Yeah, I think the fish is just settled on that right hand rod. Give me a couple of little pullover indications, but tide is completely gone, as you can see. I don't know if it's weed or fish. I'm gonna have a look. I don't know if it's weed or a fish, Rich. I missed it. It's one tangled and stuff. There's 2 bites on that rod now. Oh, there is something on there. Yeah, something on there. Probably a white or something. Yeah, it's a fish, isn't it? Eel, is there? Looks like an eel. Strap conger. That's all right. There it is. I thought we were going to have another ray, but no, strap conger. But, so that's 2 blondes and a strap. So the tide's gone really slack now, so I think it's going to start ebbing soon. So let's get this back in the water. The action has slowed up big time. We are 2.5 hours into the ebb. Since the second blonde, we've had a dog, a strap, Richie's had a whiting, a guy out on the boat, I'm not sure if you can see him behind my shoulder, he's had a cod, but he's been pretty quiet. But we haven't had a bite now for the best part of 3 hours, so we're probably going to call this the last casts. So sun's coming out now, everything's drying. You know, it feels a good 15 degrees at least. Really warm now. So give it 10-15 minutes for everything to dry out. But yeah, lovely place. My first time on Lady Bay. I'll tell you what, it won't be my last. Really do like it. It's just got that feeling that something big's going to come through. So yeah, we had those 2 blondes out, first and second cast. Bit gutted I didn't get the actual bite and the footage of winding it in on camera, because the first one it was pitch black, and the second one I was too busy down there casting, talking to you guys to get back, leaving the camera down there, come back and my line was on the floor. So I could have run down there, got the camera, but I didn't want to risk the line getting cut off, snagged or anything like that. So but yeah, all in all a good day. Better than anything I could have expected. So yes, I think time to slowly pack up now and make my way back over the bridge. It was only 1 hour and 10 minutes from my house, so well, I was packing up. Decided to bring the 1 rod in, and yet again didn't have the camera rolling, so I was packing up. And we got a little thornback grey, about £2. So yeah, so it's 2 blondes and a thorny. So it's not a bad day. Still got 1 rod out there which I'm about to pack up now. So hopefully there's another ray sat on it. But yeah, shame I didn't record any of the bites today and the footage of winding the fish in, because sometimes it just happens. You know, it can't be perfect every time. But yeah, very happy with the result today.